I can do a plank for about 90 seconds, and I feel that is extremely hard. But with me today, I have Daniel Scali, who has the Guinness World Record for the longest plank ever, which is 9.5 hours straight. Today, we are going to decode the man, Daniel Scali himself, and ask him how he actually did this. He is the only person in the whole world to have achieved this. So welcome, Daniel. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Daniel, I've identified four main factors that go into your success with this Guinness World Record. So there is practice, there is nutrition slash diet, there is
Yeah,
mindset, and there is exercise.
yeah,
So let's first talk about practice. How many times
yeah.
did you actually practice to achieve what you've achieved? And how many months or years have you been doing it for?
So my first plank was November 2020. So only November last year, and that was for 2 minutes. It was during COVID. So back where I'm in Australia, we got hit pretty hard with COVID last year. So all gyms were locked down, and you couldn't really train outside. So in my backyard, we set up a little circuit, and we always finished the circuit with a 2 minute plank. And I remember the last 2 minutes was like a nightmare. We're shaking, counting down from 10 seconds. And then a little bit more training came along to it. And eventually a 2 minute plank went up to a 5 minute plank and hit that half an hour plank. So when I hit the half an hour to an hour, I thought, bugger it, let me see what the record is. And that's when I did a bit of research and I found out it was 8 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
And in January this year, I got down to training and I put my application in. So,
All
so
right.
really my hard training was from January to July or August.
I see. So it was a solid like 4 to 5 months training.
Yeah, about 6 months, solid six
Right.
months of training.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And now your body obviously requires a lot of good nutrition to be able to pull this up. So how are you
Yeah.
managing your diet?
Okay, so I went to go and see quite a few dietitians because I knew how many calories I was burning a day. I was averaging about four and a half to 5,000 calories a day burning. I didn't know what I needed to put into my body to sustain my fuel, to keep my energy levels up. So saw a few dietitians and they gave me a little bit of recommendations. You obviously eat a lot of chicken, eat a lot of rice, keep my carbs up. So every morning I would have 2 sachets of the oats with a bit of honey, milk, and banana. And that would get me through to about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And then after that, I have some bit of tuna and salad. And then at lunch, I would have chicken and rice. So, I'd be eating quite a bit sort of thing, but nothing where I'd never eat anything bad. I'd never eat sweets. I'd never eat chocolate. If I was hungry, it would either be an apple, a pear, a banana, or a tuna. So it's really, really important just not to put anything into your body where it's not going to be burnt for good fuel,
Yeah. And before you started the plank, what food did you have the whole 24 hours before the plank?
So in the morning, that night before, I got in the process. I had chicken. What I have? Chicken and rice. So I just got not a homemade chicken, just chicken from a shop, and a bit of rice with a little bit of salad. So I didn't eat a lot because I didn't want to stir my stomach, but just enough to make me full. That morning, I had 2 oats with banana, honey, and a coffee. So just what I knew, what I needed not to go to the bathroom, because obviously I didn't want to eat anything that was going to need to make me go to the bathroom during the day.
Yeah.
And then obviously on the day of the plank, because prior to me doing the record, I've hit the 8 hours, 17 or 9 hours before. So I knew what I could eat during the attempt to know what wouldn't disturb my body. So I would have about 3 liters of water, 2 bananas, and a couple of, electrolytes, just to sustain my energy. So not a lot, but nothing where I still needed something in my stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your mindset. What was actually going on in your head when you were in those 9 hours? What kept you going? What were you thinking about?
So when I started my plank, I got in contact with a mind coach. And the reason was to help me get away, because I knew obviously being by yourself, planking for that amount of time, your body naturally wants to move. Your body, your shoulders are sore, your neck's sore, your legs are sore, your feet are sore. Everything's hurting that much. And especially my left arm, everything's hurting that much where you just want to move. So I had to incorporate a mind coach to teach me how to get myself out of sticky situations. So in the training process, we created my own space in my head. So the space in my head that I created, whenever I'm in a stress mode or whenever I feel like I'm in too much pain, Michael, which is my mind coach, helped me get to that space and to take me away from the situation. So I would go in and out of consciousness where I'm there and then I'm not there. I come back into my space and then come back into the real life, where I am sort of thing. And that helped me go through the time. Obviously there was more time. There was a bit of times where it was hard to get into that space and I wanted to move and I was shaking, but it was really important to sort of concentrate on my form, concentrate on visualizing colors in my body to sort of take me away from pain that I was feeling. But, when you go past the first few hours and then you break it up in 20 or 30-minute blocks, it makes the time go a little bit faster. But
Right, right.
it was fun.
Yeah. So when was the time in those 9 hours that you felt, shit, this is going to be painful?
Yeah. 14 minutes in, at the
14.
14-minute mark, 14 minutes, I felt my thighs starting to burn. So, and
Okay.
that's not normal. That's not normal. So in my whole training, my legs never burnt. They only started to burn in maybe the 7-8 hour mark. But 14 minutes, they started to burn. And I'm thinking, this isn't going to be fun. What's going on? But you keep on pushing through, So I visualize things, like a lot of things I learned through my training with a mind coach was visualization. So anytime I saw pain, I'll see it as red. So I'll close my eyes while I'm planking and I'll see my legs, or see my left arm, or see my shoulders. And if they were in pain, I'll see them as a color red. Then what I'll do, I'll transform that color into my color, which was yellow. And as soon as I saw the pain go to yellow, the pain would go away. It's like a cooling effect. That's what I would have to do in my head to convince myself that pain, which was red, is now yellow, but yellow is a soothing effect. It's like a nice, calm, cooling effect. Why the color yellow, I don't know. It's just a color that I like.
Okay. So after the plank though, how did you actually, I believe your body was fully sore.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after that you had to definitely take a rest. So
Yeah.
yeah. So how do you actually make it back to the bed again?
So at the end of the plank, I don't know if you've seen my video at the end.
Yeah.
So if you see, my body is completely stiff. So when they started counting down the last 10 seconds, I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to be able to just bend my knees. I'm not going to be able to just fall down because I felt like my body was going to snap. I was worried where if I did bend my knee, I knew it wouldn't, but it felt like my knee was just going to snap. So I had to slowly calm my way down and then get my trainer to lift me up just to sort of support me backwards like a crane and then rotate me around. But this lasted here for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Then after that, you sort of get movement back in your knees, sort of get movement back in your shoulders and your elbow. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But that night I was definitely sore. Like I could still move around and all that, but anytime I got touched in the stomach or I sort of touched my body, everything was just very, very, very sore.
Right. Yeah. And now let's talk about the exercise, the training that you've actually been able to be able to do this, right? So
Yep.
how did you build your body to be able to pull this off? What all exercises did you do on a regular basis?
Yeah. A lot of push-ups and a lot of sit-ups. So to me, building up your shoulders, so your actual shoulders, you don't realize how much strain goes into your shoulders. Because everyone thinks it's your core, which a plank is your core. So a lot of your lower back and a lot of your abs, it does obviously use that a lot. But the main thing in upper body is your shoulders, because you're literally pushing down on your elbows, and the pressure that you're putting up here is the way I can explain it. For those of you that go to a gym, imagine like keeping your arm out and holding it up like that, but holding a 5-kilo weight on the end. That burn there is what you feel in your shoulders. So you got to just keep on doing as many push-ups as you can just to condition them shoulders. So I'll probably aim for maybe 700 push-ups a day.
Oh.
And then maybe six or 700 sit-ups. Just this is throughout the day, not consecutive throughout the day. I do about 5 hours of planking a night. So I'll plank every night for 5 hours. I'd go for a 4-kilometer run during the morning at about 6 o'clock. I'll do fitness classes every morning as well for about 45 minutes. And I'll do my own weight classes where I'd be there and I'll do any sort of weight conditioning training that I would think is necessary. So, for instance, shoulder training, bicep training, back training, leg training, anything that I thought I was going to use during the plank, I would isolate that muscle every day.
Right. So you put your whole mind, your whole body into just training,
into training.
Yeah.
And I went to go and ask for help and opinions. So I went to go to coaches who I thought would have been good for me to give me a bit of advice and tips. But I never really got the right information I needed because they either came back to me and said, we don't really know because we've never trained someone for a plank, or B, yeah, they didn't think I was serious. They didn't take me serious. Like, you're not going to do a plank, you know?
Wow.
So it was anything that I thought was necessary. You know, it's like I knew my shoulders needed to be conditioned. So I knew the best way to condition shoulders are push-ups and shoulder workouts. You know, I knew my abs needed to be strong. Best way to condition abs are sit-ups. You know, anything I could do without thinking heavy, without going extreme, just work on something and work on it 1,000 times over. That's what I did.
Right, right. And to be able to have this much time every day to spend on training, you must
Yeah.
either be a fitness trainer or a businessman or something, right?
I've got a business. I've got a business. So I work in an automotive shop. I get to work every morning at 7:30 a.m. and I don't finish work till about 5 or 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
So I'm still at work full time, you know, but I've dedicated my time. I've allocated my time to what I needed to do. So I knew I had to get up at 4:55 every morning to get to my training, to do my 2 hours of training in the morning. You know, then I'd go home, have a shower, go to work. And then at lunch, I have about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't sit down and eat and look at my phone. I went to the gym and I did about 45 minutes to an hour at the gym. Come back from the gym, don't have a shower, just put my clothes back on, get back to work. I'll be home at 5 o'clock, don't eat nothing, and I'll be planking straight away to 10 p.m. You know, there was no procrastination, there was no relaxing. It was just I knew what I needed to get done, and I knew what I needed to do to get it done. You know,
That's
it's
yeah.
like if someone says to you, they haven't got enough time in the day. Well, then you got to stop and think of actually tell me your day. What do you do in your day? You know, if you really want to do it and you want to get it done, you'll make time to get it done. It's as
Yep.
simple as that.
Yep.
You know, because you won't believe how many people come home from work, and the average person in Australia finishes work at about 5 p.m. You know, there's about half an hour travel time to get home. So let's say it's 5:30. So you're home at 5:30, cook dinner, you're eating dinner by 6:30, clean up by 7:30. So from 7:30 to 9:30, what are you doing?
For me,
Watching TV?
I generally have either studies to do or
Yeah.
and I have a couple of businesses I run. So
No, but you're
yeah,
doing something.
I'm doing
You're
something.
doing something. Good
Yeah,
job. You know, you got the average person that might go home 7:30 to 9:30, sit on the TV, be on their
and
phone,
that's not.
just wait to go to sleep. You know, if that time there is the most crucial time to do something, like you said, working on a business, doing your studying, doing your podcast. To me, that's fascinating. They're the extra times that you need to really push yourself.
Yeah. Definitely. And thank you so much, Daniel, for joining me today. I'm pretty sure a lot of my audience must have gained some proper value from this episode.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah. And if you're new to the channel, definitely go ahead and leave a subscribe and leave a like, and see you in the next one. Thank you.